Good day, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today we will be talking about data management, which I believe is a very important topic for you to know for Platform Dev 1 certification. So we will be talking about importing data and exporting data, right? So for importing data, what we're going to do, I will be using a dummy data in the form of Excel, right? Or comma separated files to import the data to my demo org, and we will be using the same org to export the data, right? So I will show you the difference between the two. So let's jump into import data option first, right? So in Salesforce, right, when you talk about data import, right, so out of box, you can import up to 50,000 records at a time. So let's say you wanted to import a lot of account information, right? Using an Excel sheet, you can do that using data import wizard, which is an out-of-box option, which is a very valuable tool in Salesforce to do that. But the problem comes when you wanted to import over 50,000, right? So you need to rely on data loader. Data loader helps you import data between, if you wanted to do over 50K and less than 5 million, right? So you can use data loader, and data loaders even help you to automate the import process, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate you how to use the data import wizard, and it's very easy to use and it will be very handy for you guys when you are actually doing implementation project for a client where you have to import their data to the Salesforce org, right? So first thing first, let's log into demo org. So what I'm going to do, so let me log into my demo org. And it will take you to the setup screen, right? So it will take you directly to the setup screen. If for whatever reason, if you're not at setup screen, you can go to setup by using the scarecrow icon, right? Pretty straightforward. And go to setup. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna type import, and goes to data import wizard, and we have a very fancy looking UI, right? Go to launch wizard, right? So what we're gonna do, we will be importing to a custom object called lager beer object. Let me show you that object so that it makes sense to you guys. So we will go to object manager, and we will look at lager, right? Sorry, okay. So this is the object we are interested into, right? And so we will be pushing two data inside the lagger custom object. So that is the lagger name and the lagger amount. So what I've done to make it easier, I've pre-populated a few, dummy data to an Excel file. So that's import.csv. So let me show you guys. So a name and account is the header. So these are the data. So Hagen, the name of, these are local New Zealand beer, and Cooper is an Australian beer. So just for demonstration purpose, I put some random beer names like Hagen, Spades, Tui, Cooper. So, right. Let's go into import wizard. And so since we are dealing with custom object, right, we are not dealing with standard object here. So we won't be looking at standard objects. So since we are dealing with custom objects, you need to go to custom object tab and scroll down and look at the lager beers. That's the name of your custom object. And we are going to add new records. You can even update existing record. So, but we're going to stick to very simple import. So we're gonna use the insert, and we're gonna drag and drop this boy to here and click on next. So now watch, there's the thing. Now Salesforce is confused, right? So Salesforce don't understand what is this amount, so it needs your help to help you to map the right field to the Excel data, right? So let's go to map, and so the amount belongs to lager amount, and click on map, and go to next. Okay, so this field, right? This field is incorrect according to Salesforce. So what we're gonna do, gonna go to change and map to lager name and take the beer name and now go to next, right? So map field 2 and unmap field 0. Fantastic. Let's start importing. Let's see how many data. So we got, so let's see how many data imported. So it says, you see the result here, right? Records process 4 and status completed 0. You guys need to understand one thing. When you're doing a data import, right, please keep into consideration that your validation rule can impact the data import. So for whatever reason, if your data that you wanted to import fails during the validation, right, that record will be skipped. That won't be imported. So you have to make sure that you guys take validation rules into consideration, right? Before you guys start to decide to import. It's a you need to think about your process, the business process, right? When you import a client data, what are all the things you need to keep into consideration? Validation rules you need to keep into consideration, right? The first thing. So this is very important. Otherwise, you might wonder, oh, I wanted to import 10,000 and it's coming through only 5,000. What's going on, right? So that's one of the things you need to pay special attention. So, okay, so now we have imported. So the way I can check whether the data is imported or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the so-called query to test it, right? Since it's a platform dev. So we need to act like a developers, right? We're not going to do point click. I mean, I'm just kidding. So, because I find SoCal very easy to use, so I'll just show you the way you can do that as well. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Dev Console, right? Using Developer Console, and it will take you to this screen, right? And you go to Query Editor, and you're gonna type here, select lager name, and from a lager beer, that's the object. So what we gonna need, we will need one more amount field as well, right? So just to see whether we have the right data or not, right? There you are. So the data got imported. Pretty straightforward, right? So this is very, very basic scenario I've demonstrated. You might encounter a complex scenario where things are falling apart, so you need to troubleshoot, So, but this feature is very handy, right? So if you're using data loader, that's you can use it using a client application or using a command prompt. So you need to check it out. One more thing I wanted to tell you guys that Google has their own data import tool which you can actually add on. So whatever they call, they have this Salesforce add-on on Excel document where you can import, I believe 2,000 data at a time. So you can Google it, something. Google Salesforce data connector, right? So sorry, not the limits. So data connector, that's something they call. So this is where you can go. They have data connector for, so go through it if you wanted to. And I mean, for your own information, it's not needed for the certification, but just to keep into mind, right? It's good to know, right? What are things out there so that to make your life easier, right? So just read about it, you'll find it interesting, okay? Right, so we done with the data import. So as I said, that you need data wizard when you wanted to import less than 50K, right? And object you need to import supported by the wizard, right? You don't need to import process to be automated. So in that case, you will stick to your out-of-box Salesforce data import wizard. Fantastic, right? Otherwise, stick to data loader, right? Cool. Read about data loader. You can visit, App Exchange for that. You can go through this video if you're interested. So we pretty much covered, right? And then we're gonna go to data export. So data export is another option where you can export the data, right? So Salesforce out of box data export wizard where it help you to export the data. Usually you can export manually once every 7 days or 29 days, right? That's called monthly export. But you can't do weekly export if you're a professional edition user or a developer edition user of Salesforce, right? If you're using professional edition or developer, you can only use monthly, right? Otherwise, you're gonna have to use the data loader, and you can even automate your export process, right? So let me show you how to use the data export wizard. So we're gonna go to setup, right? And we going to type export. It's just very simple concept. So please don't go to translation workbench. We're not interested in that. We're interested in data export, right? And so you can schedule an export or you can export now. So let's say how we can schedule an export. So you can schedule, which day you want, and right. So it's usually monthly, right? So which day of the month you can want, because we can't use manual 7 days export, weekly export, because I'm not using enterprise version. I'm using developer free org, right? So when you go into export, right? So you can include all the data. If you don't want, you can pick and choose whatever you want, right? You can choose contract, and if you wanted to include, right? So you can actually pretty much include images, document attachment if you want, Salesforce CRM files, all these options you want, you can include. Pretty handy, right? And if you don't want it to, if you wanted to export now, you can export it. And if you do start export, right, it will actually has been queued. So when this export is done, you will receive an email, right? So you can see all your. It's a kind of a way to back up your data, right? So the export is very handy. It will help you copy all your data, right, in Salesforce, depending upon the options you selected, right? So that's very handy feature. So if you wanted to automate your export, please go to data loader, right? So this is a client application, as it says here. You need to install it separately. You can use command line, but command line needs a little bit of more operation before you get it to work, right? So that's pretty much about data import and data export. Pretty easy, right? So let me recap what we covered. We talked about data import, right? Where you import the data. And if you wanted to import less than up to 50K, 50,000, then use data import wizard. If not, if you wanted to import less, up to 5 million, then use data loader, right? If you don't want to automate your data import, stick to data import wizard. So I've demonstrated you how to import using an Excel, right? CSV file, very easy. And if for whatever reason Salesforce don't find the map, you need to manually map it to the right field, right? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, then you have to keep into consideration all the validation rules before you import the data. Otherwise, it can fail that part of the process, right? And then you talk about data export, where I've demonstrated how you can export it, and it's like a backing up your data, right? And you can include the images and all kind of stuff, right? So go through this trailhead documentation. It's very handy, right? And along with my video, I really encourage you guys to practice and go read the trailhead documentation, right? I rely too much on trailhead because it's fantastic, right? I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I just wanted to cover you my experience. I've been working on Salesforce for quite a while, so I find it very interesting. So I like to teach people, the tips and tricks. So yeah, and platform dev is one of the things which I thought I can teach you guys some of the tricks. So as I mentioned, please have a look at this Google data connector, and if you guys have used that, please do let me know what you guys think about that. I haven't used it. I mean, I haven't used it to the professional level. I play around with it. Have you guys faced any problem with that? If you do, please let me know, right? Okay, that's what I wanted to cover today, guys. I hope you're having an amazing Sunday or Monday, wherever you are. I'm in New Zealand. It's Monday evening, 7:30. So have a great time, guys, and thank you very much for attending. Bye.